outbreaks to our Delta and Kappa outbreaks from this month. I am pleased to confirm that today the last public exposure sites related to these outbreaks will come down, having passed the 14-day mark. That includes the Kings Park complex with around 200 residents formally cleared at midnight last night, having had their day 13 test results and completing their 14 days. That doesn't mean the risks of these outbreaks are over. We still need to be sure there's nothing circulating residually. We still need to pass 14 days for all of those primary close contacts, some of whom aren't connected to the public exposure sites. But we are in a very good position. That's not a boast. That is, we've all been humbled by this virus. That is an opportunity to thank contact tracers in my team, all our local public health units, but most of all Victorians, because it has been, as it's always been, a huge collective effort and sacrifice of everyone across the state. Everyone who got tested with symptoms, everyone who isolated for 14 days if they were exposed. To steadily stamp out simultaneous outbreaks of Delta and Kappa variants is no small thing. We hope we're there. So huge thanks to everyone who followed the specific public health advice, which is not an easy task, and the millions of Victorians who changed the way they lived and they worked every single day to keep us all safe. To the case of the cabin crew member who flew into Victoria on VA 334, of the more than 100 passengers and crew we're managing as primary close contacts, 77% have already returned results, all of them negative. We're also seeing negative results coming through on other cabin crew and airport workers on the ground and among people who stayed at the Holiday Inn Express. And there are no updates of note in relation to the Sandringham workplace outbreak, with more negative results rolling through. So we're in a stable position. In terms of the key interstate outbreaks, I can confirm that Victoria is managing 6 primary close contacts linked to the Northern Territory gold mine site. They've all quarantined, they've all tested negative. The National Incident Room are leading the coordination of this contact tracing exercise and supported by other states in terms of the allocation of tasks to phone each and every close contact. We thank them for all of their work in that. Finally, the Perth and Peel regions in WA entered lockdown in the early hours this morning, and as we've just heard from Premier Palaszczuk, 11 local government areas in southeast Queensland, from Gold Coast to Sunshine Coast, and then Townsville, Palm Island and Magnetic Island are going into a 3-day snap lockdown from 6 p.m. today. So for Perth and Peel region and all of these regions in Queensland, they'll become red zones from 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. As part of that timing, people on flights to Victoria scheduled to leave before that cutoff will be able to enter on their orange zone permits, and red zone permit holders who are Victorian residents can continue to enter Victoria in a controlled way in those more limited numbers, but will need to have their home quarantined for a formal 14-day period. Through to 3 p.m. yesterday, of the 13 flights from Sydney into Victoria, 370 red zone permit holders entered. Our household engagement teams continue to visit the red zone permit holders, as well as working through visits to our remaining primary close contacts. A final reminder to orange zone permit holders, especially from regional New South Wales, you're required to isolate on entering in Victoria and get a test within 72 hours, within 3 days, and staying isolated until you've got that negative result back. If you're crossing the border from New South Wales, you don't have to go to the very first testing stop to get a test. You can come to your home. You can stop for essential reasons, toilet stop, petrol stop on the way home, as long as you're wearing a mask and you only do the essential activities on the way. So you can still get that test within 72 hours as long as you're isolating until you've got that negative result. So as a final reminder, please get tested if symptomatic or if you've got it as an obligation of your permit. Get vaccinated if you're eligible. Get a permit every time you're entering Victoria. And for QR codes, check in everywhere, every time. We were able to cross-reference our permit zone applications with the Northern Territory miners who entered Victoria. That was a really straightforward exercise. It was an instant way for us to ensure that the list that we got was cross-referenced against those permit applications. So they're really important for our contact tracing purposes, and they're already coming into play for these current really dangerous outbreaks around the country. Thank you.